Welcome to the Work-Life Balance Podcast. I am Kara.
And I am Maggie.
Together, we're a power real estate team with the Bogetti Partners in Nashville.
We believe that the hustle culture of today's driven entrepreneur who lives and works in Middle Tennessee
requires balance. Welcome back to Work-Life Balance with Kara and Maggie.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. So today we're going to give you a little talk about value and ROI on a business level, personal level, and all the things, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So yesterday we went to an amazing event at Cross Country Mortgage and listened to two amazing speakers.
Yes. Three if you count Sean.
Three if you count Sean, which actually one of the reasons we're talking about ROI is because that was Sean's opening kind of conversation with the crowd. But it was really it was inspirational. It was informative. It was all of the good stuff that you want out of a marketing meeting or networking meeting. So it just kind of brought to our attention, you know what, maybe we should talk about value add,
right?
On what we bring to the table and just in general, and what ROI, not only on return on an investment, but ROI in your life,
right?
And every aspect of it, not just going and finding something that returns money on your investment, but how do you actually give back to when you're, your return. So
for sure. And Kara wrote down the definition of value, and it's great and kind of puts everything into perspective. So go ahead.
Okay, so what is the value? What is value? Something that enhances worth or significance through actions that meet the needs, desires, or expectations of stakeholders.
Yes.
So what's that mean, Maggie?
I love that. That basically means that you're going to do something for somebody else without expectation of getting something back, and purely in the intention to help them and do something that they can't do for themselves or want to do for themselves. So I think that's great. And we wrote down some kind of examples of, the value that like us as realtors bring to the table versus just the whole realm of life, which we'll talk about in a minute. But give them the first example of what we do.
So obviously we strive on exceptional customer service and always. And that's number one. And for us being a small brokerage of the six of us, it's just, you get the team. So we're able to provide a level of service that you don't maybe get at a larger brokerage, that you just become a number or transaction, right? You've heard us stress a million times on our podcast that we are relationship based.
Always.
And that is just like, for us, that is such a value add, I believe, that you have not me only, Maggie, you get the rest of us. It's like everything. So we're able to give you a level of customer service that is huge.
Sure.
And means, I think, is very valuable.
Yeah, and it helps us just in the office too, whenever we're having our Monday meetings that we do every single week. One, not only does it keep up like just the rapport and like headspace of our office, but two, we're able to bounce ideas off of multiple other people that are right here in front of us that can give us different ideas and maybe think of things that we didn't think about to help market your property or, help you get a house sold or know what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, or just as easy as, how do I market? Like, what do I put out on my social media this week? Give me some marketing ideas or whatever the case might be. So
definitely really helps.
Yeah. You go for the second one. That one.
Yeah, so we wrote down innovating to meet evolving needs, which we talked about this a little bit, both in just the knowledge of real estate, but also, the knowledge of knowing what people are needing when with the evolving economy and technology and all the things.
Right, because every day, and we say all the time, every day it changes from the morning to the evening, right? So
Every
you've got
day.
different programs that these lenders release, and gosh, there's so many of them that as a consumer, you just would have no idea that there's something that fits every need.
Yeah.
Like 0% down or whatever the case might be. There's a lot of them. So knowing that and being able to explain that to our clients is huge. And then, of course, interest rates change as much as you change your underwear.
Literally every day.
Like, seriously.
Every day except for the weekends, which is probably like most of you.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh, my God,
kidding.
that was good. I love it.
But, yeah, like we talked about it on like a level of knowing what's happening in the market and, all of these new programs that are being like released and all the things, because as far as value goes, that is, I believe, our number one, even over customer service, probably our number one value add is knowing what you're talking about, what is actually going to apply to certain people and what's not, and also knowing all of the different markets that you're going to be serving people in.
Yeah, massive value.
Yeah.
Massive value. And also just to say that we know, especially Maggie, I mean, in different Middle Tennessee, you think of Franklin and Nashville, but oh my gosh, there's so many hubs all around it that people are moving to, like Clarksville and, Murfreesboro and Lebanon and all the things that you know, having education on different markets is huge value add to our clients too. So that's all that delivery and expertise. This one is important to me. I am just like a solution person. Like, do not come to your clients with problems. Get the solution already taken care of, and then go with that in your back pocket, right? So as little as like that's always your repair list is always going to be the issue, right? You're going to have a list of 50 things. So how can you go about that where you're solution based on that? Because if you go to your client and you're like, here's a 50-page inspection report.
Yeah. They're going to be so overwhelmed.
They're going to freak out and go, oh my God, what am I buying? A shithole? Like, I'm out. So, you know, that is something that we talk about all the time. How do you figure the solution of that out before you go to them? Well, one thing that I would suggest is you call and you find out how motivated is the seller to fix things. Yeah. Like, are we talking this is like as is kind of sell, and they're going to give you like, you know, a couple $100 when you got a soaking wet crawl space or whatever the case might be. So figuring out where we can go with it before you set yourself up for disappointment, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Know what's important. If you're representing a buyer, know what is important to them and what's not important to them when you submit it, because 9 times out of 10, the seller's not going to replace every single thing or fix every single thing if you're submitting a crazy long list. But also know your seller and know their personality enough to know how to present it to them. Right. You know, and Kara is really a good example of this because her husband's a contractor, so it's really easy for her to do this. But try to get quotes or prices on stuff before you go to your seller if you're representing the seller. Because if they're just looking, I mean, it's one document. You have to put everything in a box this size. So it looks like a million words and a million things that are wrong, coupled with a 50-item like photo list that looks like a million things are wrong. So it's extremely overwhelming. So if you can just get a contractor or a handyman or something to give you a roundabout price on what these are going to cost to fix, then you can come to them and say, hey, I know this looks like a lot. This is how much it would be. We can either go the route of fixing X, Y, and Z, or we can go the route of just giving the buyers a credit for close to the amount it would be. Yeah. And then that takes a lot of the headache off the sellers trying to get everything done. And the buyers are probably going to be okay with it because, you know, unless they're the type that just aren't handy people. Most of them are going to want a credit anyway because they can do a lot of the stuff themselves and just don't want to.
Yeah. And so, like, the moral of that is just solutions. Don't, like, figure out your problems. That's our job. Yeah. Figure out the problems. You don't want to go to a client with like a whole handful of problems and without anything in your back pocket to, you know, make them have some ease of mind at the end of it. So,
especially if you're dealing with some emotional people. If the sale is due to a death or a divorce or anything like that, obviously those transactions are going to be very high emotion levels going on.
Absolutely.
So going to people with problems without knowing what you're going to do about them is going to do nothing but freak people out. Yeah. Or just fix it by, I know we're huge about this, just fix it before you even tell them. Like,
probably 99% of them are fixed before, and the clients don't need to know about it.
You don't need to know. There's been so many times where things have come up and we've fixed it behind the scenes before even saying anything at all, because you don't need to have them stressed out unless it's something that has to.
Right. That's the whole put the fires out.
Yes.
We're good at that.
Communication too. Like not only from like us to the client, but us to the other realtor. Because if you can talk to them and have conversations about things before they even happen, and that comes with experience too of knowing what to look for. But if you can, before you even submit an offer or talk to your clients about making an offer, know where the sellers are standing so that you're not having to come back to your buyer and saying, oh, no, they're not going to accept your $20,000 under asking offer.
Absolutely.
And set those expectations.
Well, that's just, and again, that's just all bringing back value to what you want from your agent when you're interviewing an agent. I mean, these are certain things that you should look at in their character and even how they conversate with you as a client. Like, are they as stressful? Like, everything's going to be high intensity? Because guess what? Your escrow is going to look like that. Or if you have something that's kind of calm, collected, and I'm going to get the job done regardless, then you know that you're going into something with a little solution and they've got the common goal, not, oh my God, anxiety ridden the whole time and everything is a fire. And it's just, it's exhausting to work with those agents.
It is. It definitely is. But yeah, and then the last thing we put as far as like bringing value is attentiveness to the client and just communication with each other.
Huge.
I know I touched on that a little bit, but I mean, when we're in escrow with people, we're pretty much talking to them every single day. Yeah. For the most part. There might be a couple of days during some lulls, but we're talking every single day.
I think that helps create like a sense of comfortability for them. I feel like, and I just live my life in that. Like, I feel like silence is like a scary thing. If you're like, I haven't heard anything back regarding that, I just red flag it. Like, something's up. Like, why are they quiet? Why haven't they called back? Or what? You know, I just naturally do that. So I think as like an agent, and I watch you, you're extremely communicative, like probably more than any agent you work with.
Yeah.
I doubt they're talking to their clients as much as you are, but I think it just eased their mind that, you know, things are right. And if something was to come up that day, we've already spoke. So I probably already kind of prefaced you on we're going to be dealing with that or not. Yeah. So yeah, communication's everything in this business.
It is. And I just want to talk on this really quick before we move into more of like a ROI and relationship stuff. The guy that was talking yesterday at the event that we went to was talking about, you know, he was choosing some different realtors and there was qualities that he liked about certain ones. And he was talking about value and who brought value and who didn't because of certain reasons. And he gave a few examples, and one of them was, you know, he met a barber, and when he was just talking about real estate randomly with his barber, and, you know, he ended up being a realtor on the side also. And they started talking more about it, and he started telling, oh, I know Bobby Sue and, you know, Bobby Joe over here and all these people. He started connecting them because he was so well connected in the community. That is a huge value add.
Huge value add.
I think that's something that we both bring, and the brokerage brings. We have a lot of homegrown people from here, and just experience of helping people, you know, move from out of country, because that's a huge thing here now.
Yeah.
So just having that expertise, being connected, going to networking events, meeting other people, that's huge. Another value add example that he gave that I thought was really good. He was buying a property down in Miami, and he was working with a realtor, and there was this house that was like way underpriced and seemed like something was going to be wrong with it, whatever. So he just sent it to the realtor, and, you know, he had another realtor he was working with who he sent it to and just kind of brushed it off. But then the other one was like, you know what, let me get back to you. I'll see what's up with it. And then nothing ended up being wrong, or so it looked like on paper. And they went, and it just happened to be a divorce situation. They just needed to sell quick, under contract the next day, walked into thousands of dollars worth of equity, and rather than just having somebody to blow it off. So then that just goes back to communication too, and like just really doing all your due diligence for your clients rather than just being busy and blowing people off.
And I think just to piggyback on that, the third, because there was 3 agents. He was meeting his 4th yesterday. The third agent was what most agents are, is they put you on auto notify. You get a random email, and most of you buyers out there know that email. If you're on it with some random agent, you're just going to get something in your inbox every day that meets that criteria that you told them day one. Nothing's been updated. Nothing's been followed through. You never really hear from them. They're just, to me, a half-ass agent. That's the easiest way to call it, because they're not working for you. So that was the other one. So, you know, there was different ways that agents thought they were bringing value. He was really leaning towards the hairdresser because, one, it was like she said, super connected, knew the builder of the home he liked, knew the agent that was representing the builder, knew the home right off the bat. So, and he's like, he knows everybody because he does a bunch of people's hair in the Nashville area. So, you know, Wendy, I'm throwing you out there right now. Because I leaned over and whispered in Wendy's ear when he was saying that, because she runs a huge spray tanning company here.
The same way.
It's massive. Her networking is incredible with her spray tan. And so I leaned over and I'm like, you know, that's exactly the same thing about you as the hairdresser. And she's like, that's kind of what I was thinking. And, you know, it's like putting 2 and 2 together, that your list of people that you are so well connected to, and you're spraying on a weekly base, just like you're doing hair on a monthly base. Those people are probably the best realtors around, because they know everybody. So
they definitely don't have as much time as some people that do it full time. But I mean, like you said, being connected is everything.
It's everything.
It's everything. And just being out, knowing people in your community, and like walking into places and being able to say, oh, hey, like, or whatever. That's how you're going to be successful in this, because this is not a business of selling. This is a business of people and relationships. 100%. Nothing in real estate matters other than who you know. That's it.
It really is. And you know, people are forgettable, and I hate to say that, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but if you don't do something that makes you not forgettable, you're just going to be another face that they saw on the side of the road or at the coffee shop, or they had a meeting with to interview for, you know, whatever. So, you know, being exceptional in whatever way you value add in life and real estate, and relationships, it's huge.
Absolutely.
It can be super small way, or it can be a massive way, but you have to bring something. You have to make your mark on the world. You have to make your mark on the world, and it doesn't matter how it is, but it has to be something significant.
Perfect. All right, we can go into ROI. Kara, you kick us off with that.
Okay, so Sean, shout out again, cross country. So I thought this was cool. So I'm obviously an investor. I love ROI because I like return on my investment, right? Well, he kind of changed the way you think of it in his speech yesterday on basically in everything you do in life, you should be getting a return on your investment. So, if I don't know, there's so many ways I can go with this, but
the gym was a perfect example.
Yeah, like if you go to the gym, what's your return on investment? Well, hopefully to lose a few pounds and you get fit, and that's the whole goal, right? So if you look at everything in your life like that, you're a good, kind person, and in return, people are good and kind to you. That's a return on your relationships investment, like all the things, right? So like for us, that's huge. And she just touched on that. Like we are extremely relational in our relationships, and that's important as to treat people well, and I think people trust us quickly because of that, right? So that's a very big ROI for us.
I think so. And I mean, kind of going back to what you just said as far as like ROI, time and energy is money, right? And it is an investment, whether it looks like monetarily or whether it's with your time or relationships or anything. And I feel like if you're not very relational, then it's not gonna matter, and it's not gonna play out for you.
Yep.
When he was talking about the example that you just talked about, he was saying that he ended up doing like a deal for somebody for free, and he was like, some people would think of it as like, I should be, getting paid for doing this and yada yada. But since he thought of it as a relationship, later on down the road, it paid him back 10 times over.
Always does.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think we get so stuck in the small picture. If you look at it as this is a long-term plan, not like, you're not living commission check to commission check. And maybe if you are, that's great, but that's not the longevity goal that we talk about. So
just like an investment.
Just like an investment. You've got to invest in personal growth. You need to invest in like networking options. You need to invest in, up here as well, keeping us sane and, burnout. We've talked about that before. So, there's a lot of things we can do to keep us the best we can be and put out that good energy. And that's all part of, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it's all part of investing.
And I've heard even people that have come on our podcast, you can go back to many episodes and hear this. And a lot of thought leaders have said this too, but it's like, if you invest more time into yourself and your mind and like just your soul and your own physical being, yourself, you're going to find more success in every single other aspect of your life, rather than trying to make all of those other things come first and expecting your life to get better.
Because if you're not healthy, how can you be healthy for everybody else?
Exactly.
Mentally, physically, all of it, right?
Yeah. So you have to invest in yourself first, and then everything else will start to follow and pay you.
Right. No, I'm with you. And the other thing, Kendrick, Key was on one of the episodes. He threw this out. He said, how about travel? How is travel an ROI? Well, it is an ROI because when you're out and you're exploring new things, you learn to appreciate other things that maybe you'd never been experienced. You've never experienced or explored. So, when obviously I love to travel, that's such a passion of mine. But I always bring back something that's changed me. If it's not just a reset mentally, it's something that I've came back. I'm like, you know what? These are goals. My goals have shifted or whatever. But again, find something that does that for you.
Yeah.
I know you like to snowboard, and you probably manifest the shit out of the hill while you're up there. You do something that you get ROI on. I know it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's like that just gives you the time to be with yourself. And I mean, especially snowboarding. Yes, I'm with people when I do that, but 90% of the time that I'm doing that, I have my headphones in and it's just me, and that's for me, the best thing that I can do for myself.
Sure. Just
get away from anybody and have all my own thoughts going on, be able to just, Eva said this, reset, regroup, refocus. That allows me to have that triple R factor, and be able to just come back and be the best that I can be every now and then, obviously not taking vacations every weekend. But
no, and you don't need to, but you could do something here, read a book.
Yeah.
Just maybe take a nap. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's just important that we reinvest into ourselves, the community, and others. And
the money's not going with you, y'all. If you can do something where you travel and go to somewhere else and learn new things or help other people, whatever that looks like for you, and you come back, it is going to be well worth your time because, you might have spent a couple $1,000s going on this trip, but you only live once.
Yeah.
You're not coming back.
You want to live the best you can, right? In all aspects.
Back.
I know. And I think too, when you're out meeting people, not only like, okay, we said relationships, marketing events, personal growth, but you're also getting maybe referrals too. And that's like something that our business is based on, right? So the more you put yourself out there, and I know, listen, I totally know it's out of most people's comfort zones. I get that. Like I have my moments when I'm like, I don't really want to do that either, But once you kind of get out of it and then you're like, okay, well that felt good. I met somebody new today. I have a new coffee date next week with somebody I never knew that I would even cross paths with, or, certain things that come at you. And guess what? It starts a momentum and growth, and you've learned something, and maybe you just caught a client or a new friend, or something positive is going to come out of it. No matter what, I guarantee you're going to get something out of it.
And even like I know we've talked about yesterday a lot, so kind of just playing on yesterday. Like Kara and I, since we've been together, have gone to a ton of networking events and met a ton of people. And when we were first starting to do that, we would go places and feel kind of, I hate to say it, but feel awkward, and feel a little uncomfortable because you're meeting new people and you walk in, know nobody. But we went through those struggles at first then, and now yesterday when we walked in the door, I saw at least 10 people that I knew and were able to talk to and have conversations with. And that was a whole new setting also. So it's like,
for sure.
The more you do that, the more people you can know going just along the line, and makes you feel more comfortable. So you have to go through the pains of feeling awkward and uncomfortable first.
Well, and I mean, we had two big celebrity speakers yesterday. And we've gotten to the point where we're like, hey, do you want to be on our podcast? Like, come on up. Literally, we asked both of them. One, he's a big-time celebrity. We talked about Big Time Rush. And the other gal, Adley, she's incredible. She has over 1 billion views a month.
With a B. Month.
She has put Super Bowl, if you took Super Bowl and all the other marketing sites and combined them, she surpasses them by millions and millions and millions.
On every platform.
So, I mean, y'all have seen her. She's at Adley, Adley. I know you all have seen her stuff. She puts on funny, quirky videos. But the fact of the matter is that these are big personalities. And Maggie and I are these little fish in the sea, right? But we've got the confidence now that, because we've put ourselves out there a few times, that if we walked away going, damn it, I wish I would have asked her. Now we would be like, dude, we screwed up.
Exactly.
So now we're like, well, what the hell's the worst that's going to happen? She's going to say no. She was like, yeah, I'll be on it. Like, cool.
And so did the other guy. Went up to same thing. It was, and we've had 2 great guests that we haven't put out yet, but we will this season, probably in a couple weeks. But it was the same thing. I met them at these events and just got over the fact that, I'm a small, little Tennessee girl, whatever, and just go up to them and ask them. Both of them have come on, and the 2 that we asked yesterday both said that they would and are happy to do it, and we connected with them. So it's just that it's going to take one more of those someday to get us to the place that we want to be, and that's all that matters.
So that is like in a circle, ROI right there. Return on that investment. We got out of our comfort zone. We went up. We did what we needed to do. We didn't leave that meeting with any regret. We felt really damn confident about what we were able to do, and it's going to take us to another level. So that's the whole point. That's like, please step out of your bubble, embrace it. It's going to be as uncomfortable as all gets, but I'm telling you, no risk, no reward. Bottom line.
And so Kara pulled a quote that I think is great.
Just call me a cheese ball, Maggie. I know what you're going to say.
Kara's a cheese ball, but it is a really good quote, and it kind of encompasses every single thing that we have talked about in this episode today. So go ahead and read it for us.
You want me to read it? Okay, listen up. Prioritize authentic connections, investing in meaningful interactions, and nurturing relationships with care and intention.
Yes.
I mean, I think the number one word that sticks out in that whole thing is authentic, because, so many times we get outside of that, and that's, people read right through that. So like for me, being authentic is everything. And you see kind of the raw of Maggie and I. This is pretty authentic as it gets.
It is.
I mean, this is live. Like, we're not cutting it anymore. When
we literally don't cut it anymore.
We don't cut it. So if we screw up. We don't really give a shit. We just want you to see us and love us for who we are. So that's why I thought that quote was so great.
And I like what you just said, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. But I mean, people can tell so quickly when you are not being authentic. Whenever you are putting on some kind of like show or masquerade or whatever you want to call it, they can see right through it. People are much smarter than, you give them credit for. They see that. And if you are being just genuine and just trying to be a good person and just being yourself rather than just trying to be something that you're not or somebody else, they're going to see right through it, and it's going to immediately make them not trust you. So
absolutely,
in that quote, authentic is definitely the most important word there. Yeah. And I think that's just in our whole life. That's what we go by.
It is. And that goes back to everything that we just talked about, bringing value, and being the best you can be in every situation, and bring something that people don't necessarily do for themselves. ROI, y'all got it in you. Just go out there and give the world a little bit of it, and you're going to get it in return 10 times over. And I will get off my soapbox of therapy for the day.
We appreciate you all for watching and the people that follow along with us. So keep hanging in there, and don't forget to like share, subscribe, all the good things. We'll see y'all next week.